the opposition has been complaining that the present government is muzzling them. Do you think the opposition itself is doing enough to hold this government accountable and put them in check?
I think the opposition has been playing Jesus Christ politics, because there is already a precedent of how to deal with party in government when it fails to deliver. Tinubu has said, Tinubu and Buhari, and this is my reverend friend, in the chairman of Save Nigeria, Tunde Bakari. They have set a precedent that any government that fails to deliver should be harassed with unprecedented protests. And prominent Nigerians, whether they are businessmen, politicians, should join, and the government should be whipped to order. But this opposition is playing Jesus Christ politics. That's why Tinubu is doing all this. I've complained severally. Why has the prominent politicians not joined us on the street? Why? But I realize that most of them are afraid of their business interests and investment. And because of this blackmail that every protest results into destruction. So their businesses may be touched. You know, from the youth protests in Lagos, that snowball into destruction of properties. And so many people who even participated in the protest, young people, had their businesses touched. So I think maybe that's what they're afraid of. But they're not doing well enough. I mean, they are even massaging the ego of this government, because some of them, I hear them say that Tinubu is a very strategic politician. How strategic is Tinubu that he cannot even solve the problem of hunger? Just to be able to come up with a policy in 3 years that would have tackled hunger. Everywhere, Tinubu by now would have farms that young people, young Nigerians in agriculture are manning it, and our grains reserve would have been stocked. Nobody would have been talking about hunger. Today we would have had an effective and functional National Committee on Food Supplies, Food Security, manned by a credible Nigerian with reputable Nigerians brought into it to deal with the issue, so that they can take off the issue of hunger from my table while I do my politics with a handcuff on my cap, going about buying governors, buying councillors to join my party. But this man cannot distinguish between politics and governance. In governance, you need everybody. Even your enemy, you need him. Babangida did that. Why can't Tinubu get somebody to help him read Babangida's book? How he managed this situation. Babangida wrote a book that left no Nigerian with an excuse as to how to deal with problems. I read the book. And I recommend it to Tinubu.
All right, let's look at the issue of 2027. Do you have any fears President Tinubu's could stay beyond 2027?
President Tinubu is working very hard to stay beyond 2027, but not even through the ballot.
Through what then?
Tinubu from day one did not pretend that he will want to emerge as a democratic monarch of Nigeria. He has not pretended. That's why from day one, any vestiges of democracy has destroyed them. Rule of law, the judiciary, the economy, political parties. The recent one he is doing is they are buying some of the opposition leaders that have been in the ADC. We've lost quite a number again. One of our gubernatorial candidates had joined Tinubu. I saw him snapping picture with him. one of the strongest supporters of the Waziri Adama Alaja Bukati, the presidential candidate of ADC, had also jumped ship. She's now, as you also heard, whether they call it Tinubu Baba. All this cannot happen except on your dollar we shall stand. So, there is no any indication that we are heading towards a transition. There's no indication. Bajabi Amila, who is the Tinubu's chief of staff, was caught on camera instigating the only elected member of House of Reps of ADC to destroy that party. If a chief of staff lacks every moral ingredient and went on camera to make that statement, of course you will know that we are governed by impunity. Now, what is Tinubu up to? Tinubu may confront a very serious challenge because Tinubu has everything. He has his bishops. When he was trying to be endorsed and the church said no, he invented his bishop and bought regalia for them to gather in Yaradua Center to endorse him. So the Nigerian Bar Association will be surprised. They will be seeing some senior advocates where there was no Supreme Court that conducted investiture on them. And these Tinubu senior advocates will help him to say he is qualified to be the first with the right of refusal. So he will continue in a very sham and well-organized, well-orchestrated sham elections organized by the current INEC channel.
Lest I forget, since you mentioned it, talk about the Nigerian Bar Association. There have been these ongoing ripples about NBA talking about the government trying to infiltrate or to guide and direct them how they should conduct their elections. I read the NBA president, Alpha Musigwe, saying that they will not concede to anybody directing externally, that they remain resolute in what they've done. How do you see that?
Well, I'm proud of the current president of NBA. I know him personally and closely. He's one Nigerian that Nigerians should pray for. Except that, sorry, let me use the word naive. If he has not expected what he saw now, then he's naive. NBA was the professional body alongside Nigerian Labour Congress that forced the military. They set the tune for the emergence of anti-democratic organizations that forced the military out of power. And Tinubu knew this very well. He knew that one of the greatest problems he's going to have is the Nigerian Bar Association. That's why I told you that he's going to recruit the bad elements in the senior bar are already there for him to harvest. But he will need to also dilute it with his own senior advocate. So he's going to get president of maybe road transport. He will get some of this city boys movement, and they will get a rope of it for them, and then mix them up, and you will have another Tinubu Bar Association. But their own wake will have a handcuff on it. So there will be a Tinubu set of senior advocates. But I want to encourage the bar that the Nigerian bar is the custodian, the hub of the Nigerian people, and no force can break them. No force. Any attempt from anybody to infiltrate the bar is the end political, is the political obituary of whosoever is involved. The military failed. So a civilian wearing agbada with handcuff on his head cannot succeed. The bar remains resolute as the custodian of the right of the Nigerian people with the judiciary of the people. Because you know the judiciary has also been fragmented into two. Very soon, some of these Tinubu judges will be wearing a handcuff on their gowns to sit because they are so shameless. Very, very shameless. Destroying our heritage for whatever pecuniary gains. So this is the situation we have found ourselves as a country. But for the bar, it's a no-go area. His advisors should tell him, once he attempts the bar, he should measure the grave, his political grave. That's the end of his politics.
The Tinubu government, have they crossed the lines that have made you to say, where is our democracy going? Has raised their concern?
Every existing red lines have been crossed by Tinubu. There's only one left. That's the election red line. Every red lines you know. What are you talking? The rule of law, a pillar of democracy, have been taken away from the people. Civil liberties, they are clamming down on Nigerians and locking them every day. The essence of governance itself, which is provided by the Constitution, Section 14, to Section B, security and the general well-being of the people, they can't even deliver them. Corruption is the official value of this government. Scandals is their perfume. So which red line do you, the only red line left now, look at how they changed the national anthem, a heritage of the people, 1942. Because the national anthem reflects the aspiration of the Nigerian state. And it was changed in 5 minutes, the cup of tea. No engagement, no discussion. So which red line are you talking again? In the comfort of his bedroom, he awarded a 17 trillion naira contract to his friend, Chagoury Chagoury, with his son as a director in that company. He took the second highest national honor, Grand Commander of the Niger, and went out of the territory of Nigeria and donated it to his friend in France. So what again are we expecting? I can go on and on and on. So the red line that is left now is election. Look at the caliber of people he appointed as ambassadors. Even military government send the best to represent them. Armed robbers will send imams and pastors to be the ambassadors. But Tinubu government send, we know what we are practicing now is what is called rock diplomacy. And that's why South Africa is doing what it's doing. Discredited elements were posted out as ambassadors to represent Nigeria. And these people's credibility is globally known. Some of them are having corruption charges hanging on their necks. An ambassador of Nigeria is coming to court to answer for corruption. We have exported corruption. Those countries are not going to sit and watch.
Let's wrap up this way. In the northern region where you come from, what are the chances that President Tinubu will still command the support of the North heading into 2027 election?
Well, you see, the emergence of the presidential candidates had regionalized the politics of Nigeria and taken us back to the First Republic. And fortunately for the North, which is about 3/4 of Nigerian landmass and population, they have only one candidate. In the Southwest, there are three. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Sheyi, who has invited the United Nations to come and prop the abductions, which they have gone to National Assembly to be shouting and crying. The president, Senate president, even Shomole shouting. The best thing that has ever been done by a Nigerian leader since 1999 is the call by Sheyi Makinde for the international community, the United Nations, to prop the abduction. He has not exonerated himself. He is the governor of Oyo State where this thing happened. That is the peak of honesty and transparency. My hands are clean. Police, come, I'm not a thief. If you are not a thief, why would they shout of hey in the market and you start running? Why are they jittering? This young man, Sheyi Makinde, had earned my respect for the second time. The first time in the Ibadan political summit, he warned Tinubu that Operation Wete started here in Ibadan and consumed that republic. That this young man had to come up again. He had my respect. I will be looking up to a future leader in him. I'm joining him to call on United Nations and the UN Human Rights Commission, Amnesty International, and all other international human rights organizations to launch an unprecedented investigation, deploying every technology to establish the culprits behind Oyo abduction. Therefore, Nigeria as a country must survive. The situation where we have people in power, instead of running this country and enjoying immunity, they are running the country under impunity. Everything about them is either scandal, fake, or controversy. Is it the legacy? Let me ask my brother. We are going to bequeath to our children. If Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, or Para, or Sadebe, Aminu Kano, Sadona did this, will you be able to be wearing suit like this? You would have been walking without even pants on this street if they have done this. They sacrifice for us. So the North is going to win this election in 2023. Landslide. 2027. Landslide. It is a litmus test of northern Nigeria to establish its dominance over the political configuration of Nigeria, to prove that, well, we have the population to install. And if we install a tyrant, we also have the power to throw him out.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure having you around.